I think we need to start your session. So it's 11:30 and we are going to start your session now. A very good morning to all of you. I hope I am audible to all of you clearly. So now we will start your session for the B3 subject. Unit number 1 we discussed in the last session. So can you tell me that what we had discussed in the last session? You can use the chat box section also to give the answer that what we had discussed in the last session. Can you tell me what we had discussed in your last session? Do you remember that? Okay, I will tell you. See, in the last session, we had discussed about something series parallel combination and the comparison between the series parallel circuit. Then after we discuss about the open circuit and short circuit parameter. So in the open circuit and short circuit parameter, you have to identify the phi difference. As I told you in the last session that if you have any circuit, if you consider it is to be open circuit, that means the current flowing through that circuit will be zero. And if it is short circuit, you can say that the maximum current, it is equivalent to the infinite value we are assuming. Then the second parameter, that is the about the resistance. So if you have the open circuit, that means you can say that the value of the resistance, if you identify using the Ohm's law, then what you will say that R is equal to V by I. So if you are assuming that current equal to zero, then R will be tends to infinite. No, no, no. The same unit, whatever we discussed in the last session that we are discussing right now. And if you consider the short circuit parameter, that if you consider that I will be the maximum or infinite, then your R will be equal to zero. Understood? So this is the thing we discussed also in the last session for the DC circuit, the same unit we are discussing right now. Now the third parameter, that is about the voltage through the short circuit, that is equal to zero. So any link when you identify the short circuit, in that case, if you consider that it is a short circuit and if you identify the voltage across that short circuit link, then it is equal to zero. And if you identify the voltage through the open circuit, sorry, this is not short, it is open circuit. This is not short, this is open circuit, then it is going to be maximum one. Okay. Then a fourth parameter, that when you measure the, when you connect the ohm meter to the short circuit, then it will be displayed as a zero. That means it is, you can say that in case of short circuit, the resistance is equal to zero. When you have, when you are going to connect your ohm meter, that means the resistance when you measure across the open circuit, then it will be, you can say that it will be identified as a infinite, or you can say that it will be OL or 0L, right? Then the fifth parameter, that is practically short circuit happen when the low resistance wire, it is connect across the circuit, and open circuit occur when the circuit is break through some point. So you can see the diagram here. This two diagram is actually indicating, one is the open circuit diagram, in which you can see there are 2 points represent at which there is no link given. That means this circuit is open circuited case. The second diagram you can see, in which there is a wire connected between that 2 point, and that is representing the short circuit case. At this, you can say that the value of the resistance wire, it is very small, it is comparatively zero. So ideally, we are saying that this is our short circuit case. So whatever we discuss, it is written over here in this statement form, that whenever you have the open circuit, then it will possess the infinite value of the resistance. Whenever you have a short circuit case, it will possess the value of zero resistance. So this is given over here, as I mentioned in the previous part also. that whenever you connect the ohm meter, that means it will measure the resistance value. So that is we known as ohm meter. So when you connect your ohm meter across the, you can say that short terminal, it will be displayed as a zero, or very small value of the resistance you will identify it. When you connect your ohm meter across the open terminal, that means it will be displayed as a infinite, as a 1 or 0 L. So most of the multimeter manufacturer, it will be displayed 0 L for the open circuit case. Now when you said about the current, as I discussed with you, that current always require the closed loop path. So if it is open, no electron will flow from one terminal to the other terminal. So that means the resultant current, it is equal to zero. Understood? Yeah, I will speak a little louder. Now it is perfect. Yes or no? So if there is open circuit case, there will be no electron flow from one terminal to other terminal. So that means what, the resultant value of the current, it will be flowing zero. Similarly, the resistance is, you can say that other current controlling factor. That means whenever you apply the, as per the Ohm's law, whenever you have a higher resistance, means what, you will getting the lower value of the current. In case of the open circuit, you will have the maximum, or sorry, you can say that you will have the infinite value, means what, the zero current is flowing. And in case of the zero resistance, you will getting the maximum, or you can say that the infinite value of the current flowing. So just because of the Ohm's law, you will identify this parameter of the current and the resistance relationship. So this thing given over here, that according to the Ohm's law, I is equal to V by R. So if you say that for the open circuit case, your resistance will be infinite, your current will equal to zero. And if you say that for the short circuit case, your resistance will be equal to zero, in that case, your current will be infinite. Understood? And last thing is about the voltage, that we already independent, you can say that dependence upon the Ohm's law, that whenever you identify the voltage across the short circuit, that is equal to zero. However, whenever the voltage across the short circuit link, sorry, open circuit link, then you will getting the equal value of the supply voltage as per the our diagram we represented. Are you understand? This thing we already discussed in the our previous part, just it is given over here with the few sentences, or it is given over here in the brief. So I hope you understand this thing about the resistance, current and voltage. So shall we go further now? Shall we go ahead now? If you understand this thing, I will show you one diagram here. See, open circuit and short circuit gate, it is represented here, that when there is nothing to attach to the terminal, the circuit is open there. When there is no element is connected, or you can say that if there is nothing connected to its terminal, you can say that it is open circuit case, right? And open circuit case means what, your resistance will be infinite. That means what, there will be no current flowing. So resistance, you can say that it is infinite, and the voltage across that terminal you will get exactly, you can say that that is your open circuit voltage terminal. The same thing in the second sentence given over here, that is about the short circuit. So in this short circuit case, the wire is connected across, or you can say that between the terminal. In another word, we can say that the wire resistance, if we say that it will having a very low resistance value, it is comparative equal to zero. So the current flowing through that wire, that is, you can say that it will be called short circuit current. So right now in this diagram, both the phenomenon is given, open circuit and as well as the short circuit phenomenon, both are given in this diagram. Can you identify the open circuit case and the short circuit case in this particular diagram, where the terminal of the element is left open? Can you identify in this diagram, in this circuit diagram, where it is given, where the element it is open, it is not connected with the circuit? Can you identify it? Yes, at Vx terminal you can see this thing. At this point you can see that the resistance one terminal is connected, but the other terminal of the resistance is left open, it is in the air. So this is the case of, you can say that, the open circuit case. Now can you identify the short circuit case, where there is a wire, it is connected between the terminal having a low resistance value? Can you identify from this diagram where is a short circuit case given in this particular diagram? Can you identify the short circuit case from this? See, over here on the right hand side top corner, can you say it is the case of short circuit case? Yes or no? Can you say that it is the case of short circuit here? Just say yes or no so I can understand that are you able to understand or not. See, the short circuit case, it is actually indicating what? There is a wire which is connected between the terminal having the lowest resistance value, or it is comparatively, you can say that, the zero value. So you can see over here across this 22 ohm resistance on the top and top right hand side corner, what you understand from this terminal? If we connect the wire, this is the line, it is representing the wire, right? It is connected across that 22 ohm resistance. Now do you think that what do you say that in which path the current it is flowing, or it is likely to most flowing in which path, from 22 ohm resistance or from that short circuit link? Quickly, from which path the current it most flowing, or it is try to flowing? Quickly tell me. Yes, it is from the short circuit. Why? Because it is tendency of the current that if you have the low resistance in the circuit, then the current will passing through that only. Because as you all know that the definition of the resistance, it will oppose the value, or it will oppose the flow of current. So if you offer with the lowest resistance value, then all the current it is decide, or it is selecting the lowest resistance path in the circuit, right? So this case is actually represent over here that if the 22 ohm resistance you have, and across that you will have a short circuit wire, that means what? It is a type of short circuit case in which the current will try to flow in that short circuit wire only because it has a lowest resistance value. I think now you understand, all of you. So that is the case of short circuit case. Yes or no? So now if you see this diagram, what the modification we have done at these two places for the open circuit and short circuit? When we say that the terminal is open here, can we say that the current is flowing in from this open circuit terminal? Can we say that the current is flowing from the that 18 ohm resistance? No, it is not possible, because as you don't have the closed loop path here, the current is not flowing. So if there is no current flowing from the 18 ohm resistance, can you identify the voltage across 18 ohm resistance? Or can you identify the voltage drop across 18 ohm resistance? Are you getting my question? So there will be no current flowing here. So whatever the voltage you will measure across this 18 ohm resistance, it will be not measured. So that's why this 18 ohm resistance we are represented here with the short circuit. Yes, the voltage will be zero. So this 18 ohm you can see over here, it will be represented with the short circuit, or you can say that with the line segment only. Now you don't require the 18 ohm resistance at that point, because no current flowing. Now you can see over here, as I told you, that the current will select which path will have that the circuit having the lowest resistance value, or the wire having the lowest resistance path, that the current flow decided. So if the current, all the current, it will be passing through that short wire which is connected across the 22 ohm resistance. Is there any requirement of that 22 ohm resistance now? Is there any requirement of the 22 ohm resistance now? Because all the current is flowing from what? The short circuit wire only. So that means there is no requirement of that 22 ohm resistance now. So that's why we open circuited, right? So just see this sentence clearly. Yes, there is no current flowing. See, there will be no current flowing. That means the voltage, it will be zero according to the Ohm's law, Joseph. Since there will be no current flowing, you cannot measure the voltage. It will be zero according to the Ohm's law, because V is equal to what? I into R. Whether you have the value of resistance in the circuit, but you don't know the value of current, or because of the open circuit, the current is equal to zero. That means voltage is equal to zero. And in this short circuit case, all the current will passing through this short circuit wire only, because it will have the low resistance value. And over here the 22 ohm resistance, that will be open now, because all the current will flowing through that lowest resistance path only. So you can now see this conclusion over here, that bottom line is what? If there is a wire across a resistance, the current in it is equal to zero. We can replace with the open circuit now. That means we can remove now. That is this case given here. And if the resistance is hanging with nothing to connect it, that means the voltage across it, that is equal to zero, and we can replace with the short circuit. Are you understand up to here? This is our open circuit and short circuit case for the particular diagram, and this can happen with the practical condition also. So shall we go ahead now? If you understand this thing, can we go ahead now? Okay. So if we go ahead, see this thing we already discussed in your laboratory session, right? In this week. In this week, we discuss about the Kirchhoff current law and voltage law in your laboratory session. So I hope it is clear to all of you. So I'm not going to again discuss with you. Ayun, what I'm going to explain about the KCL and KVL. Okay, short circuit again. Okay, just a minute. See, if you find out any circuit diagram, let's say, if you just, I'm going to draw over here for your understanding, that suppose you have a battery source like this, you have a resistance here, one resistance here, right? And you will have one more resistance here, and by chance you have one wire you have connected here. So can you say that the current is flowing from this resistance here? Is there any current flowing in this two resistance path? No, it is not. Why? Because whatever this short circuit wire you have connected here, it will be across these two resistance also. That means what? All the current is passing through this short circuit wire only, like this. There will be no current flowing in this resistance which are connected here. That is our short circuit case. I think one of the students has a problem in that one, so I think it is understandable to you now. Okay, so now, as we discussed the our Kirchhoff law in the our practical session, I'm just quickly go through this, and I'm giving you discuss with you the example, right? So that will understand very well. So in the Kirchhoff current law, what we discuss? We discuss that if you have any junction in the circuit, right, and number of the branches are connected to that junction or node, both are same, right? So whatever the current, or you can say that the algebraic sum of the current entering at node, it is equal to 0. That is about the KCL. So this is indicating what the number of, or you can say that the sum of the current entering to the node equal to the sum of current leaving to the node. So that is about the KCL. Then KVL we discussed, that is the based on the principle of the conservation of energy, and it is stated what? It states that the algebraic sum of all the voltages around the closed loop path is equal to 0. So you have to identify first of all in the circuit there will be a closed loop path or not. Then after you can identify the voltage across each element and the summation of, or you can say that algebraic sum of all the voltages in that closed loop path, it is equal to 0. So that we identify using this diagram in our lab session, right? So we identify this diagram, and from that we identify the equation also, that whatever the sum of the voltage drop is equal to the sum of voltage rises, right? So then after we discuss two example. This is the example we discuss. Are you understand? This example we discuss in our lab session. So we are applying the two loop over here. So we apply the first of all KVL in the first loop. We identify the equation. Then after we apply the second loop, we identify the another equation here. And then after we just simplify this both the equation to find out the value of current component I1, I2. After substituting that I1 value in one of the equation, and then after we identify the I1 minus I2. Understood? So this is our one example we discuss in your laboratory session also. And this is the another example what we discuss in your laboratory session. So shall I go with the new example now? So in that one you can understand very well. Now this is our example question, right? Now in this example question, can you tell me that how many source we have? How many number of the source we have in this example? I will discuss with you this example because this will understand very well. Yes, it is. You can say that there are three sources it is represented. The number one here, number two here, and number three here. How many resistors are there? How many resistors are there in this circuit? Yes, it is two. Exactly. There are two resistors. Yes, it is two resistors. Now, can we say that it is a closed loop circuit? Yes or no? Can we say that it is a closed loop circuit? Yes or no? So, can you identify over here, is there any open circuit, or we can say that a short circuit given here? Is there any type of that given in this circuit diagram of open circuit case or short circuit case in this diagram? Is there any open circuit we have or short circuit we have in this diagram? No, no open circuit will be there, right? Otherwise, we cannot say that it is a closed loop circuit. Now, what you have to identify here, you have to identify the voltage V1. So this thing we have to identify here. Now, how you can start the calculation? Understand very properly now. How you start the calculation of this diagram? First of all, you can check here that is this closed loop circuit? Yes. Then you have to apply the loop. Loop means what? In which direction the current is flowing, that you can decide initially, and that is you can take by your assumption. Understood? You have to decide that in which direction it is current flowing. So normally if you say that, you can see over here the polarities of plus minus of V1, 50 volt, and this 50 volt. Can we say that, or can we arrange like this? Because they are all connected in series, can we say that it is look like this? If we rearrange this diagram, can we draw like this, where the three batteries are connected in series and two resistors are also connected in series? Yes or no? But if we apply properly loop over here, then how we can get that information? That I will tell you according to the KVL. See, right now we are applying the KVL here because there will be no junction here, right? There will be no junction here, or there will be no node represented. So now if you see the direction, you can represent like this, clockwise direction, sorry, anti-clockwise direction. So if you are assuming the anti-clockwise direction here, can I now give the polarity of this resistance? Yes. So plus here, minus here. The battery source are already given by their polarity. So now come to the resistance value now. It is plus, minus. Understood? Yes or no? I just given the polarity here. That's it. Now, if I'm writing the equation here, okay, I will repeat it again. See, first of all, I need to assume the current direction here. I need to assume the current direction here, or the loop direction in which the current is flowing. It is not a problem, Bahati. You can take the clockwise also. That is not an issue. You can take the like this also. That is not an issue. There is no issue to writing in this way. But why I am indicating in the anti-clockwise direction? The reason is, when you say any battery source terminal, when you say any battery source terminal, if you identify like this, then you will say that the current will flowing from this battery source like this, from minus to positive, minus to positive, minus to positive. It is, you can say that the ideal current direction will obtain for the battery source, for the battery. or the source. So according to that, I indicated the anti-clockwise direction here. If you select the clockwise direction, that is not an issue. But then you have to change the polarity. Understood? The current which is passing through this resistor, the passing through this series resistance or from this circuit, because as the circuit is in the series path, the current it will be flowing, it will be same. Are you getting now? Are you getting now? See, I assign the direction here in the anti-clockwise direction. So now, see, don't look that. If you see all this thing, then you will confuse more. Just focus what I'm telling right now. You just consider that there will be no current given over here. This is your circuit diagram. Understood? I'm just apply the anti-clockwise direction here. So according to that, if I assign the polarity here plus minus, right? Plus minus here. So can I identify the value of current it is flowing? As you know as you don't know the value of this V1, you cannot identify the current easily, and that's why the current value is given here. Understood? Why this current value is given here? Because this value of the voltage you don't know, and you have to identify this value of voltage. That's why whatever the value of this resistance given here, they are also indicated with their current value. So now in a simple sentence you can say that, can you identify the voltage drop across this 200 ohm resistance, or the voltage between these two terminal, can you identify it according to the Ohm's law? Yes or no? So if I'm going to apply the Ohm's law here, what I'm getting, the voltage across 200 ohm resistance is equal to what? I into R. So what is I? It is 500 milliampere. So it is 10 raised to minus 3 multiplied by 200. So how much the voltage we are getting here? I will show you that parallel combination also. Don't worry. But what is the voltage here now? See, you have 500 in terms of milliampere. So it is 10 raised to minus 3 multiplied by 200. So it is like 500 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by 200. So what is the voltage now? Can we say it is a 10 volt? Yes, this is a series connection we have. Hear me out. So can we say it is a, see, 5 into 2, it is 10. Okay. So you will get the value of voltage, it is 100 volt, right? It is of 100 volt across these two terminal of A and D. Can you identify the same parameter between these 2 points, B and C? Same equation you will apply. The voltage across this 100 ohm, it is equal to what? 350 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3 multiplied by 100. So what is the value of voltage across this B and C terminal? 350 into 10 raised to minus 3 multiplied by 100. So can we say it is 35 volt? So can we say it is 35 volt now? The voltage across B and C point? Yes or no? Now, as this circuit is in the you can say that it is just like the our KVL circuit what we had discussed previously, right? So now you will have the voltage across this terminal like this, plus or minus 100 volt across this 200 ohm resistance, right? And the value of, yeah, you will have of 35 volt here. Understood? So now can we apply the KVL here as per the our direction? Suppose if you are selecting this direction here, you will have a positive, negative, positive, negative, 35 volt here and 100 volt here. So if you apply this thing, what the equation you are getting here? What the equation you are getting here? If we start with this plus 100 volt, so it is 100 minus, if you see the minus polarity will come first, so it is minus 50. Then this minus will come first in the anti-clockwise direction, it is minus 50 plus 35 volt minus V1 is equal to 0 according to the KVL. Yes, yes, the total voltage will be summation of all the voltage and that is equal to 0 according to the direction you have to follow. So this is, you can say that it will, this is the thing, 100 minus 50 minus 50, so it is 100 minus 100. So what you are getting here, V1 is equal to 35 volt. Now you understand clearly? Are you understand now how we apply the KVL here? Okay. So the description of this thing is given here, that individual voltage it is applied. See the total voltage around the closed loop path, it is equal to 0, and that is the law or the statement of the KVL. That is the statement of the KVL. Saron, it is the law. At total energy what being is used, it should be applied or it should be generated. That's it. See the milliampere is given, that's why we return 10 to minus 3. The value over here it is given milliampere. The value of current it is given milliampere, that's why it is written 10 to minus 3. Okay, so the description given here, just, yeah, it is given in the another method, but you just remember that whatever the thing we have applied, so the answer we get over here, it is of 35 volt. Yes. So we go for the another example like this. This is our another example in which we have two battery source, three resistance given, and we have to identify the current by the using of Kirchhoff law. So now in this case, what we are going to do here, we are going to take two loops. We are going to take two loops here in this one. So we start now the calculation. Tell me so we can start. So we start now the calculation for this thing. Okay. See, in this example question, what it is asked that we have to consider two typical loop in this circuit. That means the closed loop circuit, we have two. We have two battery source given here. One is 28 volt, second is 7 volt, and there are three resistance given here, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to assume first of all the two loops in this circuit diagram, and then after we will do the calculation. So first of all, in this circuit diagram, I will assume the loop first of all. So first of all, according to this 28 volts, suppose if I'm say that the current I1 is flowing here, I am assuming according to this battery position, it is plus here, minus here, plus here, minus here. This is the positive and negative polarity of the battery, right? The source. So according to that, the current will flow here, I1, and the current will flowing I2 here, because we have to identify I1 and I2. So what I'm expecting, the loop will be in the clockwise direction over here, and the second loop that I'm going to assume according to this current direction, that I2, it is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction, right? So now can you tell me that if the current I1 here, current I2 here, what will be the current flowing in this I2? What the current it is flowing in this I2, sorry, in this 2 ohm resistance here? See the current direction, you can see over here, this is our junction, this is our junction, this is another junction we have. So the current will be leaving from this node, and that is equal to what? I1 plus I2. Yes or no? So from the 2 ohm resistance, if both the current are meeting at the junction, the third current direction will be the leaving from the junction. This is the fulfillment of the KCL, right? So at this particular junction, current I1 and I2 both are towards the node. So the another current direction that should be represent, it should be represent with the current leaving the node, and that's why it is represent over here from this 2 ohm resistance I1 plus I2. Understood? Yeah, you can take both in the anti-clockwise direction also, Joseph. That is not an issue. You can select two loops, both are in the anti-clockwise direction. That is not an issue. But remember that the current direction, whatever it is represented, right? So that you have to keep in the that sequence. See, I'm going to represent this example over here. Like one loop I'm going to use as a clockwise direction and another in the anti-clockwise direction. But the actual solution given that I will show you, which having the different directions, so you can understand that you can do this type of the example by your own selection of the loop, the direction. Understood? So now if I apply this KVL here on this first loop, can I write like this for the first loop? See the current direction or the loop direction, it is in the clockwise direction. So for the battery source, the negative terminal come first. So can I write like this? Minus 28. Okay, the one thing that I can do, I will write in the text format so you can understand. Just a second. So can I write like this? Minus 28 for the battery. Plus over here you will have R1. So can I write like this? Plus 4, that is the resistance value, into I1 for second ohm resistance. It is written like 2 into bracket I1 plus I2, it is equal to 0. So if we rearrange this equation, and after multiplying that 2 into the bracket, can I write like this? It is 4 plus 2, 6I1 plus 2I2. It is equal to 28. From the first loop, can I write like this? From the first loop, can I write like this? This is our equation number 1. Are you understand? Up to here. Now, when I apply the second loop here, when I'm applying the second loop here, in the second loop, if you see, it is in the anti-clockwise direction. So the minus terminal come first here. So what we'll write? Minus 7 plus 1 ohm resistance from which the I2 current is flowing, plus 2 ohm resistance is still there. So it is, we write I1 plus I2 again, because it is the common branch between both the loop, and it is equal to 0. So if you rearrange this equation, can I write 3I2, sorry, yes, 3I2 or 2I1 plus 3I2 is equal to 7. This is our second equation now. Where the voltage I am not making 0, the voltage addition should be 0. See the voltage, this is the battery source voltage, the voltage across the first resistance, voltage across the second resistance, and that is equal to 0. That is the KVL. It is the statement of the KVL. The same thing we are doing for the second loop. So it is 2I1 plus 3I2 is equal to 7. Now I want to I need to simplify this equation, because I want to identify I1 and I2 separately. So what I am going to do here, if I multiply 3 with the equation number 2, if I multiply 3 with equation 2, why? Because I need to identify I1 and I2. So there is a possibility is what? When I multiply with the 3, it is what? 6I1 plus 9I2 is equal to 21. And then after, I will subtract from the equation number 1. So I will show you that also here. So after multiply 3 with the second equation, what I'm getting? 6I1 plus 9I2 is equal to 21. Yes, we have to use, or we have to solve this two equation. So now you will have this equation. Now you will subtract the first equation and the second equation. So what you are getting here, just a minute, I will write here. So first equation, right, I will write as it is, plus 2I2 is equal to 28, minus the second equation. If I write here, if I multiply with the minus sign with the second equation after multiplying that, so what will be there? 6I1 minus 9I2 is equal to minus 21. I just multiply minus sign because I need to subtract this equation number 1, and after multiplying the 3 with the second equation, whatever the value I'm getting. So what values I'm now getting here? 6i1 it is cancel out now after adding this two equation. Yes or no? 6i1 is going to be cancelled out now. So this is going to be cancelled out. Now 2i2 minus 9i2. So what can I write here? 2i2 minus 9i2. Can I write minus 7i2 is equal to 28 minus 21. So can I write it is 7. So what will be the I2 now? I2 is equal to, can I write minus 1 ampere? Yes. Now after finding out this I2 value, I will put this I2 value of minus 1 in any of one of the equation. You can select any one equation in which you can put the I2 value now. So you can identify the I1 value. So now if I'm putting, suppose in the equation number 1, suppose if I'm putting the value of I2 in the equation number 1, so what I have now, 6i1. Can I write minus 2 here? Because 2 multiply with the minus 1, so it is minus 2 is equal to 28. So what the value you are getting now? That this minus 2 will be transferred to the other side, so it is 30. And I1 is equal to what? 30 divided by 6. So what is the value now? I1. So 28 plus 2, it is 30. And 30 divided by 6, so it is 5 ampere. Now you got both the values here. Now if you see this minus sign, is actually indicating what? Whatever the loop you have taken, right, that direction should be changed. The values are not incorrect. I'm saying whatever the values you have find out, that is correct according to your calculation. The minus sign is indicating in this I2 value, that indicating only one thing, that whatever the direction you have selected, that you have to reverse, or that you have to taken in the opposite way. That is only the significance of this minus sign into this I2 value. So now what is the current flowing through this 2 ohm resistance? Can we say I1 plus I2? So it is 5 minus 1 is equal to 4 ampere. From the 2 ohm resistance, 4 ampere is flowing. Yes or no? Are you getting now? Yeah, you can. Yeah, see, either you will get I1 is equal to minus 5 ampere, I2 is equal to 1 ampere, and I1 plus I2 is equal to minus 4 ampere. That is also okay. That means what? Your answer is also correct. But whatever the direction you have selected, that is, you have to change. Understood? Are you understand up to here? All of you? See, I will upload this presentation once the chapter is completed. Okay. Whenever this unit is complete, I will upload all these slides in the Google Classroom. Now I will show you what the presentation, or what exactly the solution given here. You can see, according to our observation over here, the first loop which is assumed in the solution in the anti-clockwise direction, and I2 is in the clockwise direction. You can see Are you understand? And as we discussed that the first loop in the clockwise direction and second loop in the anti-clockwise direction, so it is just the change in the direction. I cannot upload this presentation because every time, every day, I am supposed to make this PPT presentation. So it is very difficult to you also at the end that which one is the last PPT. That's why. Okay, so in this one you can see the first loop is taken anti-clockwise and second loop it is taken clockwise direction. Understood? So now you can get the answer as we have predicted. So whatever the value you are going to select, according to that the values you can obtain. Understood? Are you understand now? You can select any loop direction. As I told you earlier that you can select any loop direction, that is not an issue. But according to that, you should identify the values. In this loop, you can see it is given in the anti-clockwise direction. Loop is given in the clockwise direction. But in our assumption, we have taken the first loop is in the clockwise direction, right? And we taken positive, negative like this. So I1 plus I2 here, but in this case, you can see that it is with the opposite direction now. Okay. So this is our example. Any question here? Okay, you can now write your enrollment number in the chat box section. Now you can write your enrollment number into the chat box section. Okay, one thing I can do, I will upload up to here, right? Up to here, I will upload into the Google Classroom. But make sure that at the end of the semester, you will have the updated presentation. Otherwise, you will be confused. So quickly note down your enrollment number into the chat box section, and then after you can leave the session if you don't have any query. Okay, so thank you all of you for participating in this session. I hope you have all written your enrollment number into the chat box section. If anybody left, you can just write it down into the chat box section, your enrollment number with your name. And those who have already written their enrollment number, they can leave the session now. So shall we end the meeting here? Okay, so I think I'm going to end the meeting here for all.